And so, everyone changed to their new equipment. This equipment fell under unique grade. Since they were adjusted to be equipped by monsters, their designs, however, were rather unbalanced and comical in nature. Still, for any amateur adventurers, this was incredibly strong gear. We also applied some sort of a curse to register their users, so that they couldn't be stolen. To us right now, these were the best gear out there. This new switch restored our resolve. Before we embarked on our battle, our spirits were soaring. We checked the status of our avatars. My ghost had given up physical attacks and focused on magic and mental attacks. It served the role of a sorcerer. I hope to learn about spirit magic and illusion magic soon, since my goal was to become a wizard. Aside from that, I also wanted to learn holy magic. What would happen if I placed my faith in myself? That was kind of part of my experiment. Vildora's skeleton swordsman was a jack of all trades, he could do anything. He served the role of a heavy warrior, but seemed to want to learn magic and become a magic knight. Millam's slime, on the other hand, specialized in speed and one-shot kills. She's the super buff type. Or perhaps I should call her the romantic type. It was her job to be the assassin. She may have been able to learn a thing or two from Sally, but I had forbidden her from troubling others when she was just fooling around. Her approach was to launch an ambush by dropping from the ceiling for quick takedowns. If the enemies fell for it, she'd look like a boss. But what would she do if the enemies saw through such a setup? Well, I think she would run away, considering her high mobility. In some ways, slime was the perfect form for this. Ramrus's heavy animated armor focused on strong attacks. It possessed some level of defense, and even had the potential to be quite balanced. She fit the role of berserker. Not that she had really gone berserk, but it seemed that she has never considered her defensive capabilities. That was just how I had been calling her since she decided to become a dangerous monster bent on attacking. Once she had gotten familiarized with her abilities, I wanted her to team up with Vildora and play the role of shield for him. Everything was prepared. We wouldn't get hungry, so our ability to fight on end would really shine. Let's fire up our spirits and try our best in stopping the Green Rebellion. With a burning spirit, we stepped onto the battlefield. Yet it turned out, to our great disappointment, we crushed the Green Rebellion with ease. Gotta stay calm, yep, I gotta stay calm. As I calmly ran Analyze and Nasus on my avatar, I realized its power was almost at rank A. This was mostly thanks to my gear, but it's pretty much the case when I was able to use my powers smoothly. However, we miscalculated one thing. The abilities of our original selves would be reflected in the avatars. Even though we couldn't use all of our skills, with thought communication and thought acceleration alone, these were enough to turn the favor to our side. For me personally, I could cast magic so fast it was almost cheating. Bound by my mana pool, I could not use all the magic, but my vast arcane knowledge remained. Compared to a third-rate court mage, my magic was still leagues ahead. I didn't need to chant my spells and could cast consecutively without delay. Surely our enemy couldn't handle that. As for Vildora, I almost suspected that he had a pair of eyes in the back of his head. He swung his sword like a master of swordsmanship. Gahahaha. My Vildora-style killing arts incorporates countless sword techniques. Hold on, that's not how it goes. And on he went with his nonsense. Vildora seemed to have learned some techniques from the manga he read. And I thought that mangas were just making up the drawings. Looks like there were actually practical techniques out there as well. Vildora was pretty unpredictable to begin with, so nothing could really surprise me at this point. Looking at him closely enough, you would realize he was acting like a moron. On the other hand, we had Millam. She wasn't lying when she said that she focused on speed. She zipped around at breakneck speeds. It was beyond what the average person could control, let alone replicate, yet with Millam's reflexes, it was a piece of cake. Actually, I should say that that's just how fast a slime could move when it got serious. She could ignore friction while sliding across the ground and closed in on the enemies with a bounce. The way she darted along the ceiling with the same speed, surely, made it close to impossible for your everyday adventurer to spot her clearly. I was a slime as well, yet I'd never realized such a thing until now. I was profoundly shocked. Wahahaha. You are so slow, all so slow. Eat this, you dimwit. Millam snuck behind her enemy without making a sound, acting all smug about it, and impaled the enemy's neck with her Grim Reaper's javelin. Most fights with her ended like that. Physical attacks couldn't easily harm her, and in order to cast magic against her, you would first need to get a clear fix on her. Now that I thought about this, it was pretty terrifying to fight Millam's slime as your opponent. The person to complement Vildora and Millam was Ramrus, the professional wingman. Woo. Let me show you how strong I am. She led the charge as soon as we saw enemies. In addition, Ramrus's combat style was to fight people head-on. Under normal circumstances, this was a risky move that rarely acted in her favor. She's such an idiot. But for the rest of us, her doing so was the right tactic. After reminding her several times to no avail, we turned this in our favor. In short, we used Ramrus as bait while we launched a three-pronged attack. Normally, it would have been tricky to pull this off. But Rimuru set loose on a blind rampage, utterly disregarding defense. All the enemies saw was a large set of armor wielding the Grim Reaper's great axe barreling towards them. By then, confronting it was inevitable. Because she completely neglected defense, all of their attacks were focused on Rimuru. However, she had pain nullification, that's why she didn't even flinch and launched attacks one after another. In addition, the armor itself was very sturdy. Sparing no cost and paying no mind to weight, the heavy animated armor was crafted out of thick sheets of magisteel. That imbued it with some level of self-reconstruction, so a couple scratches were nothing to worry about. The sheer weight of the armor was enough to crush the average person, and imagining such a giant hunk of metal charging at you, the threat it posed to our enemies was readily apparent. Oh, and then there was my healing magic. As part of my experiment, I tried to cast holy magic, and found that I easily managed to pull it off, much to my surprise. As opposed to believing in myself, I controlled the spiritrons that I originally could not manipulate through the use of prayers. This time, with me turned into a ghost, both the mana of my body and the words of my prayer would reach my original body. I then cast the magic borrowing the power of my original body. The purpose of prayer seemed to be to convey the will to execute the action. When manipulating spiritrons, you needed to listen to the individual wish of the prayer to execute them accordingly. With such a complex action, no matter how advanced my processing power was, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's why I turned to a different method and had different individuals conduct the calculation. As the number of people who prayed my believers increased, my mana rose in kind. In other words, I could improve my godliness. In addition, because I was connected to my believers, it also served as a secret technique. I could use the minds of my own believers to expand my processing power. This would also allow me to lend them mana and processing power. I see how it is now. That's why Luminous wanted to expand the number of followers she had. With a large number of followers, she could instantly cast large-scale magic. Ultimate secret of faith and grace, I had learned a terrifying skill. Let's drop that for now. Considering this, I could now cast holy magic. As a result, our team was extremely strong. And now, on floor 49 filled with vicious intentions, we eliminated every member of the Green Rebellion. We shouldn't be afraid to face anything, we should embrace challenges. Had we attacked head-on, we would have been defeated long ago. But rather, we honed our coordination and utilized traps. We ordered the slime dolls to damage our enemies' weapons. We used slime rain to distract them and cause them to waste their stamina. We took the chance to ambush them and back them into the slime pool. Rimuru roared to attract the enemy's attention when Milim launched her sneak attack to completely disrupt the enemy's formation. Vildora focused on cutting them off and isolating the rearguard. We used the giant slime to defeat the weaker mages and thieves, and had Vildora and Rimuru force the rest of their main combat force into the slime pool. The goal was to destroy their gear with strong acid. Damaging the main force of Green Rebellion was to slow down their progress. That was our goal in this fight. Annoying. All our hard work ruined. The pathetic crime made me realize that the captain of Green Rebellion was a woman. That surprised me a bit, but what she said next caught my attention even more so. Let's retreat while we still made some gains. This is probably a good point to stop. You're right, Home Nation has given the order anyway. She talked to a surviving male member of the team that seemed to be her subordinate. She did just say that the Home Nation has given the order. I heard that the mercenary group Green Rebellion didn't belong to any nation, they were freelancers. I heard that their benefactor was the Kingdom of Ingratia. Could it be that their entire group was hired? The way she said Home Nation gave the order sounded as though their loyalty towards it was more than a mere customer. Looks like I need to be mindful of it. Since the dungeon would attract customers, it was gonna attract many people with unchecked backgrounds. Regarding that, I'd been mentally prepared for it from the start, but it seemed that I needed to remind everyone about that once again. The Green Rebellion incident made me realize this once more. Moreover, this is wonderful. Right, we won. That goes without saying, we are the invincible team. These idiots need to be reminded or they'll soon get carried away with their immediate victory. That being said, right now even I was basking in the joy of completing our mission.